Yorubaland have been invaded. I didn't know until now that Fulanis are now vigilantes in Oyo State, and they are guiding, over 100 villages. They are working as vigilantes in Yorubaland. When they, in December, or in fact, it was early this year, last week, when the news broke out of the clashes between Amotekun and Fulani bandits, where it was reported that 7 people were killed, 7 bandits were killed. Yeah. So the complete story is that the Myetti Allah, when I told you then that, I don't know if you remember this, by the way, sometimes in 2019, there was this uproar about Myetti Allah forming vigilante group in Yorubaland. And some of them were caught with the ID card of Myetti Allah, vigilante in Ondo State. They downplayed the news, but the news is real. In fact, they are not just in Ondo State. They are in Lagos State. They are in Ogun State. They are in Osun State. They are in Oyo State. They are in Ekiti State. Myetti Allah vigilantes, Fulanis, guiding your villages according to them. So when the news broke out that 7 bandits were killed after the report of escalating kidnapping cases in the areas of Shaki, Okeogun, Ibarapa areas of Oyo State, the Amotekun Corps swung into action, moved down to the area, and they decided to comb every area in those villages. In the process, they succeeded in leading some of them out of the entire region into wherever they came from. According to the commander of the Amotekun Corps in Oyo State, retired General Togun. So they succeeded in sending some of them out, but they got attacked in some places. And that was what led to the gun battle that led to the death of 7 bandits. But the Oyo State government quickly denied that they were Fulani herdsmen, those killed, that they were just criminals and they were not Fulani herdsmen. Also, 46 of them that were arrested, apprehended with guns and all of that. In this same area, the media report is now saying that they are not arrested. They were arrested wrongly because those guys were actually providing security in those areas. And I'm like, what? How? Vigilantes, Myetti Allah. So then we found further that even Amotekun Corps in Oyo State, they have also told the world that they have Fulani Myetti Allah representatives in their mode of operations. We are done for. They may say we don't need to see it that way. I get it. That is why those that the government of Oyo State, the Amotekun commanders in Oyo State, all the security forces working together to provide security for the people of Oyo State, they had no clue that there were some vigilantes working in some area, helping to protect the people in the area. They have no idea until when they arrested them. And Myetti Allah representatives inside Amotekun now identified those people arrested as Myetti Allah's vigilantes in Yorubaland. I won't say much more. Maybe you can think about it. I'm going to come back to it. Something else happened. This one happened in Lagos State. How many of you remember the story? The story of how some Okada riders, some Hausa Fulani Okada riders in Obalende area of Lagos State, how they burnt down the entire local government simply because One of them was arrested and his Okada was confiscated by the local government official. I don't know if you remember this story. Remember, this is Mayegu's diary. We keep records here, and I'm here to remind you. That happened in Lagos State, and to this day, for over a year, almost a year now, we have not heard any update on that. Those who committed that act, they don't have identities. They are all Okada riders in Lagos. You know that. That happened. Well, that is not just what will be happening. A lot will be happening. That you begin to question yourself that are you still in Yorubaland or you are somewhere else? Yes, you will question that. Like I told you, we have been invaded. All the governments you have in Yorubaland, they have been compromised. Security apparatuses in Yorubaland, the one that belongs to Nigeria, the one that belongs to us, have all been compromised. And people are not paying attention. They are not paying attention. This happened in Lagos. I want you to listen to the story.
I got a call from the security of my own clothes. I was told he stole a bike. On getting there, he has been mercilessly beaten.
I've used my car to take him to General Hospital Igando. On getting there at emergency point, we call up a doctor on duty and he confirmed him inside the vehicle that he's dead on arrival. Brutally murdered in broad daylight in the presence of people. I was in my house when I got a distress call around 6:12. And when I received a call from one Okada boy named Rabiu that there is a fight at our estate main gate, that they are beating one engineer, some Hausa group are beating one engineer. On getting there, I met the guy already on the ground. They are pouring water on him. He has been mercilessly beaten before I got there.
Unfortunately, Chairman ran back to his house to go and bring his car. By the time Chairman, brought his car, I don't know, but he wasn't responsive any longer. So when they heard Yamutu, when they started saying Yamutu, when they discovered that probably the guy must have passed on, some of them took off. At that point, we have few people left. You understand? The people on ground at that point, they started, coming closer, and they apprehended one of the guy. In fact, it was the guy that claimed that the man stole his bike, that invited all those guys that we apprehended. They brought him down. Amala took one, and one other guy that was also arrested in the, at the point of that scene.
So, I've used my car to take him to General Hospital Igando. On getting there at emergency point, we call up a doctor on duty and he confirmed him inside the vehicle that he's dead on arrival, that they cannot accept him again. So immediately I called back the station officer, Idimu Police Station, and he said we should bring him back to the Idimu Police Station, where we met with the DCO in the station that night. So the police officer there arranged the police team. They follow us to the scene of incident that night. At the point, the estate boys too, they were able to accost one of the Hausa guy. That one was held down, was taken to Idimu Police Station with the deceased body. So at Idimu Police Station, later in the night too, another one of the team was also arrested by the estate guys because they too have already come out to start fighting. But as the chairman of the estate, I intercede and I make him understand that this is a police case. Nobody should attack anybody so that it will not degenerate to ethnic fight. And based on my investigations, when they brought them, they are not as much as this. They are just a very few people with the intention of using the place to be selling ingredients for the people in the community. But what they turned the place to now is butcher, where we have the beggars, the druggers, series of people are there now. There are many, more than 500 people living there. And the last times when they beat our security, I met with the Sheriki that is present on site here. He said the fashion days are more than 5, that he cannot control them anymore. Now they have killed person. They have killed, and we are not sure that they will still not come back to us and be killing our people.
I love that conclusion. It is the situation now. That's Lagos State. It is not Ibarapa. It is not Shaki. It is not Okeogun. The names that many of you Yorubas probably have only read about in the book. You've never been there because they sound strange to you. They sound ancient to you. But people live there. The same people living in Lagos State. So when I told you that they are everywhere, the last statement of the chairman of Housing Association of the area is enough for you to know that this is now beyond what if anymore. It is already here. I'm going to break it down further. So the bottom line is, when are they going to strike? Many of our people are somehow confident that if they are attacked, they will respond because they believe that Yorubas will defend ourselves. But there are some things that many of you are not paying attention to. When these guys took over power, they ensured that they took charge of the military, took charge of the judiciary, took over the National Assembly, took over the Nigerian CBN, and at the same time redistributed the wealth that will empower those that will keep the power as it is, and they are not joking. So they ensure that even when you decide to fight back, you heard the chairman, Abi, they came as people who were selling ingredients to the people in that community. They came like 1, 2, 3. Then before you know it, they are now over 500. Not just that, they are now posing as danger to the people. You see where they are living, they don't need addresses, they don't need ID, they don't need anything. So when they commit crime there, who are you going to catch? How are you going to arrest the criminal? Now, they said they have 5 camps, 5 different factions of criminals in that camp. A camp of 500 people with their wives and family and the rest, right? They have dangerous criminals, all this matter. In that community, they are now 500. In the next 5 years, maybe there will be 5,000. And at that point, they will need their seriki. And you see all of you who think you are Omadubo, they will wait for you to try to stop them from appointing their seriki. That is when some of you realize that what will happen in Lagos, what is happening in Ibarapa, in Oyo, will happen in Lagos, but you will likely pretend that it didn't happen. But I'm going to keep reminding you, that's what I do. So that example, the example of that video you just watched now is the typical or textbook definition of invaded people. They are powerless. They are asking for help. They are looking for justice. When they go to court, who are they going to meet in the court? They will meet Buhari's appointee. When they call the police and they report the criminals, who are they going to report to? They will report to the criminal police. And on like that. If you try to defend yourself, you will be reported as the aggressor, the enemy. Now, for Amotekun comrades in your state, for them to be able to at least walk about in their cars, in their uniforms, to show it to the Oyo people that they are Amotekuns, they need to bow to the control, the command, and the influence of Myetti Allah. Some of you would never believe this. And I'm telling you, that's the situation right now. Our hope on Amotekun in Oyo State, our hope in Seyi Makinde's seriousness in tackling security or insecurity in Oyo State will never materialize to anything. We are going to sit down here because the people that are supposed to do it, protect the people of Yorubaland, they have been compromised. They can even be killed. When they succeeded in letting those unwanted criminals and their guns to leave Yorubaland, right, and enter Yorubaland legitimately, have an identity, and settle down like everyone else by buying land or renting houses and live in towns like other people, not settle in the bush, and then begin to attack neighboring villages and run back into that bush, begin to kidnap people on the highway and take them into the bush. There are victims. Maybe you want to wait to become a victim of that kidnapping before you will know. Now we can no longer raise our hope. The governor of your state is now under the siege of the invading criminals. That is for those who are even trying to speak up. Those arrested, uninvited, the governor of Oyo State did not even know that there are Fulani vigilantes in his own state until the Amotekun Corps went for that raid and they arrested 46. They killed 7 because they engaged them in gun battle. Amotekun, representing government, the Fulani who are controlling those areas, they were not expecting Amotekun because they only recognize one authority, and that authority is Myetti Allah authority. So as a Yoruba man, don't beat your chest and start bragging as if to say we are safer than the people in Borno State. Our own is just cooking up and it will soon be exposed. You are likely going to come back to my video because the same attitude some of you have towards this same issue is the same attitude those who have the chance of stopping it, they also have towards it. People will survive. Time will pass. But what about the victims? What about those who are going to become the victims of that barbarity? There is no point in raising our hope. I just wanted to remind you. Because with what we have now known, that is now in public domain, it simply means that whenever Amotekun arrest anyone, they will need clearance from Myetti Allah. Think about that. They will need permission from Myetti Allah to confirm whether the people arrested are terrorists or bandits or whatever they want to be called, or they are vigilantes. So it's easier now for terrorists who are now walking about carrying AK-47. We don't know who is paying them. How can you be doing security for Yoruba in Yorubaland, and the Yoruba people don't even know you are protecting them? They don't know who is paying you, who is paying them. Myetti Allah. Where is Myetti Allah getting money that they are paying to their vigilantes in Nigeria? In Anambra, Myetti Allah representative is part of the government of Anambra State. Obaino, the governor of Anambra, came out and said, I have Myetti Allah representative in my government. They have Myetti Allah representative in government of Ebonyi State. When they said ESN chased out the Fulani terrorists from their forest, yeah, and told them to pack away, that video, it was in the office of the governor of Ebonyi State where they made the video to say, no, they were not. It was the Aseriki going for chieftaincy title. That was why the entire village started packing with 2 trucks. That's how much they have invaded you. For those who have come clean to tell you the truth, many won't. That is the situation we are in now. So if you are a Yoruba man or a Yoruba woman listening to me, you are likely going to have the real story soon too, because Yoruba, you know, it's just a matter of our reactions. In fact, if you check all the media houses or all the platforms talking about the rot in Nigeria, mostly you will find Yoruba platform, Yoruba or Southerners, Southerners that will occupy more than 80% of those viable platforms, because we are the ones talking about the terrorism in the north, because we don't want to become victims. Now that it's going to begin to happen in our own turf, you will not be able to deny it. Don't worry. You may be living in Lagos, but you are not far away from the terror. And that's about the story you watched earlier. Let's go.